This is for Joel Telling, his Patreon video that I just watched. The problem is you're using Patreon wrong. Yeah, this coming from somebody who has, 1/500th the number of patrons you have, but Patreon is not for creators to support creators. Because as you've correctly noted, it's a money swap. If you want to support Angus, promote his channel on your channel. If Angus wants to support you, promote your channel on his channel. That's how creators promote creators. So, for example, I like your channel. So I tell people about Proto Pasta, even though I'm never going to buy it. And I tell people about your channel. Because I like you, I like your content, and I think anybody who likes my content will also like your content. I would never give you $1 on Patreon because of the exact reason you just noted, and because I have a Patreon account to try to make money. So if I'm spending money on Patreon, that kind of defeats the point of a Patreon account. So the reason you're having this conflict, the reason you're running into this trouble, is that you are attempting to use a service incorrectly, or at least not for what it's intended to be used for. The intent of Patreon is, well, okay, if you're independently wealthy and you don't really care what you get on Patreon and you just want to support other people, great, do that. But if that bothers you, then don't do it. Find another way to support other creators on Patreon. They have a right to collect the money. I mean, that is their business. That is the sole function of what they do. I mean, I think 11% is a little high, 11.5% is a little high, but it's not outrageous. I mean, they do have to make money. I don't know. Just find a different way to support other creators instead of with Patreon. Unless, of course, it's unbalanced. If you're providing a very generous support for a creator and that creator can't reciprocate, that's different. Then you're now supporting them more as a viewer or sponsor than as a creator supporting a creator with an even donation both ways. That's it. I can't think of anything else to say on that. It's not being used correctly. The purpose of Patreon is for the end user, the viewer of our content, not other content creators who wish to patronize us creators directly, so that we don't depend on the fickle rules and algorithms of, YouTube or Google or AdSense or sponsors or anything else like that. It allows the users to say, I support you directly, and that's the point of Patreon. It's kind of like a tip jar, really, but also more. It's like halfway between a tip jar and a cable service, as you mentioned. It's halfway between those two. So that's what Patreon is for. And even though it's expensive at 11.5%, it gives us access to something we normally would not have access to, and it automates the process. They sign up for once a month, and on the first of every month, it charges their cards. It's a very simple process from the creator side, and also a simple process from the user side. They know it's going to come out on the first. I know I'm going to get it on the first. I don't have to keep going back in and clicking on things and processing payments and stuff like that. That's all handled server side from Patreon. So I think the problem you're running into is simply Patreon was not meant for creators to support creators directly as a quid pro quo, as a back and forth, as, oh, you help me, I help you. It's not what it was made for. If you're doing a one-to-one transfer, then just don't do it at all. The dollar you were going to give Angus, keep it. That's from Angus. And Angus, the dollar you were going to give to Joel, keep it. That's Joel's dollar he was giving you. The result is the same. 11.5% is not taken out.